That's awesome. I'm glad that, it's awesome to be working and that the things that we're doing, people are digging. So that's cool. But I wanted to actually talk a little bit since we're at jiu-jitsu camp right now.
Can I give him an example though?
Of what?
I want to just give an example of when you because we're doing what we would do is we work so well together. Right? We're doing the same damn thing. We work so well that we do work well together. But let's give an example of how something could have gone wrong, or let's say we got off track for a minute and came back, right? Here we go. I designed this packaging and I was like, this is the best packaging. This is the nicest packaging.
What was it for?
It was for a new product we shall not talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was colorful. It's it's perfect. It was great.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is you tried to flank me on this one.
I flanked you.
And the flank was so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I did try to flank you. And so I showed it to B Little and Megan, and they were like, that's awesome. I was like, yeah. I was like, I went a little over the top with it, but this packaging would be the best, right? That's what I told them. I built myself up. I built them up. This packaging would be the best because of my expertise, right? Yeah. And Brian's like, what's Jocko gonna think about it? And I was like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter. So here I have.
Did you say what? We'll explain it to him. We'll get him. Get him over
I said he's gonna bring it down a level from what it is, but hopefully we'll hit somewhere in between. And so Brian's like, bro, if he doesn't like it, that's just ridiculous. And I'm like, no. I said, don't even worry about it. Yeah. I said, don't
Jocko,
even worry about
factor.
it. Yeah, no factor
over here.
So I sent it to you, and it was like no response. And then you're like, you iced me. And part of this, and when I'm talking about drafting, right? Okay, my ego comes into play. And then Jocko's ego comes into play. And then he says something, then I'd back off. And then it comes back, and then his comes back. Then it back off. So there's this constant, but that's not ego. It's not ego. It's coming to a decision that's best. So after it's colorful, let's call it a rainbow, right? Then all of a sudden you make the rainbow black.
The whole rainbow.
The whole rainbow. Just make it black. The whole rainbow. Mm-hmm. And that would be kind of cool. So I go out to Brian, and I was like, yeah, Jocko doesn't like it. and he stands up and he's like, bro, he's like, if he doesn't like, this is ridiculous.
I didn't know B Little was such a hater. He tries to play all super cool.
He's excitable.
Cool with me.
Yeah. Of course he is. So I'm like, I literally, and then I was like, it's not on brand. Yep. It's not right. And so I made a quick check, right? And I was like, dude, I said, I think the packaging will work great, but you know what? Let me go back to the drawing board because I haven't seen what else it could look like. How do you freaking know what else it could look like? So then I went back to the drawing board and we pushed it further. We went on brand more with it. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, yeah, not bad, still not good, whatever. You didn't really say this.
I think my first 4 responses were for too much.
Yeah,
Next
too much.
One, too much. Next one, too much.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, okay, he just wants me to bring this back to basics. So,
what's funny? You use the term on brand, and that's one of those things I hear get thrown around about brands, right? Mm-hmm. And I was getting interviewed the other day, some interview, and the guy said something about it's impressive how quickly you've built your brand.
Right.
And I looked at him and I said, I'm not a brand. I'm a person. What I'm doing is not what I'm doing so that I can leverage people. What I do is just me, and I'm just a person. So if you asked me if I would wear a rainbow t-shirt, I wouldn't.
No, I've asked you to wear lots of stuff and you haven't.
and if you asked me, But that's not because of I'm trying to be something. It's because that's who I am.
Right.
And I had one of my bros who I hadn't seen in a while. And we met at a little place we go to in San Diego. And I hadn't seen him in a year and a half. And he comes walking in and he sees me and I'm wearing the same thing that I always wear. A pair of jeans, a Victory black t-shirt. And he walks in and he sees, and it was wintertime and I was wearing a flannel, like a whatever, like a
like a New England flannel.
Yeah, like a New England, but like cheap, whatever flannel with the quilt inside of it.
Yeah.
And he sees me, and like when he sees me, and this is kind of, after the books and the podcast, and he's another SEAL, so he's suspect. And he sees me and I see his face, and his face like gets happy when he sees me. And he comes over and like does like a bro hug. And he says, "Bro, you're fucking exactly the same." And I was like, "Yeah, man." And he goes, "I fucking knew it." And like that to me was the best compliment I'll ever get, is like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm not a brand. I'm not doing anything for, any other reason other than it's just me. And that's just what I'm doing. And if people are cool with it, man, that's awesome. I'm stoked.
And that's what I love about you, because you actually are checking your ego, because this is who you are and you're not this person. And that's why you work, That's why it works.
No rainbows.
No rainbows, man.